Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Kelly Sparks, aka Redbeard. So, this is actually the first time I'm doing a response video to a comment. And I told him that he I didn't say this. I said there was a lot to unpack from his comment, so I wanted to do a video. And this is from JCK0B. Took a screenshot of it, emailed it to myself, and then printed it out. But I'm just going to go through it real quick. And today I'm drinking my post-workout protein shake. It's the Flavor Saver, if you know what I mean, ladies. Anyway, he said, I'd say slight cardio is best, but that's not a good idea if someone has heart conditions. That is true to an extent, and mind you, I'm going to preface all this by saying I am not a medical professional. Um, so these are just my opinions. I am going through heart failure, or I have heart disease, so I have some opinion on it, but I think my specific case is an outlier because there are certain things. Someone who has a healthy heart and then all of a sudden has the same issue I have are normally not, I don't want to say crippled, but their output is severely restricted. So I believe in my case, mine was a birth defect. So I have a different circumstance. So I do have heart failure, but I do believe, to go back to his comment, that obviously check with your doctor first. If you have a heart doctor or cardiologist or whatever, check with them. And at the end of the day, if you don't feel comfortable doing something, if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. If you feel comfortable, if it's okay to go out and do some walks or whatever, and you don't have any problem doing that, I think that you'd be fine. But as far as cardio for someone who has a heart condition, for me, I can go out and do sprints. I can do hill sprints. I can run. I don't have any issues with that. The only time I even ever realized I had something wrong was whenever the fluid buildup in my chest, my lungs, and in my lungs and around my heart or whatever. Whenever that got to a certain point, I just couldn't breathe. I was still working out and training. I was even trying to do conditioning, and I was just basically drowning from the inside out. So, as far as cardio with the heart conditions, I think it depends on who you are, what your previous training life was like. If you have never been to the gym and you didn't work out, you didn't train, and then you got a heart condition, you might not want to go jump on the stair stepper or the treadmill or go out and run a marathon. It might not end well. So, going on to the next one. He said, you have to be very cautious with extreme weightlifting. It takes a toll on your body, similar to what happens with construction workers after working in the field for many years. They can't do anything physical after the age of 40. So I will agree to that statement a little bit, to part of it. And I think it goes back to, if you go from being a healthy person in one moment to having heart disease in the next, that will definitely take a toll on your physical output, in my opinion. But in my case specifically, I haven't slowed down. I've actually increased intensity. Now, I have backed off on certain things because of injuries here and there. Arm wrestling training takes a toll on your shoulders and your elbows, so I can't really do a lot of heavy chest pressing. I think I got something torn up here that limits my ability in that department. But as far as, I think if you just remain healthy and take care of yourself. If you're a construction worker who gets off the job, goes home, sits on your couch, eats a freaking bag of chips, and kills a 12-pack of beer, yeah, you're probably not going to be very active when you hit 45, 50, 60 years old. Now, if you're that same construction worker who has a fairly healthy diet, maintains a proper weight. I'm not going to say you got to be in shape, but maintains a fairly decent physical condition level. I don't feel like you'll be. I mean, you could be like Jack LaLanne swimming the freaking English Channel or whatever he did, or the San Francisco Bay, pulling a boat behind him at 80 years old. So, as long as you maintain some kind of physical fitness throughout your life, I have no reason to believe that someone can't be active, almost as active as they were in their 20s and 30s. So, that's just my opinion on that. He said, I don't know, fitness is such a tricky thing. It is. It's almost like you have to be able to trust a doctor who's well versed in fitness goals, who knows what they're talking about, versus some of these famous fitness gurus out there. So, in that regard, I have a hard time trusting anyone. I'm hiking my pants up. That's a bad habit I got from when I was fat. I'd always bend over, my pants would always come down, so now I have a habit of pulling my pants up whenever I bend over. Anyway, so I have a hard time trusting anyone, even a doctor, especially a fitness guru, whenever someone else is paying them to say a certain or push a certain agenda. Now, I understand being endorsed by somebody. Maybe that's in there as well. But doctors, certain doctors, I'm not saying all of them, will push certain prescriptions because they get kickbacks from those pharmaceutical companies. I don't even think that's debatable. Now, certain fitness gurus obviously will push certain products because they get kickbacks from those supplement companies. So you really have to use your bullshit detector and determine who do you feel like is giving you the correct information. I have an unbiased opinion on most things. I'd say unbiased. I'm pretty biased on some things. But as far as logical fitness training, health advice, I would be fairly unbiased and I would try to lead you in the right direction. I am by no means an expert, but I feel like if somebody's way too polished and shiny and has that used car salesman vibe to them, they're probably not to be trusted. They're probably just selling you a freaking line or some beachfront property in Arizona. So be careful on those guys. I definitely agree with that statement. It's hard to trust the people. Now, if you had a surgeon or a cardiologist, now I've got two cardiologists, it might make sense to believe them because they may or may not be looking out for your best interest, but you can always search out other opinions. So, and his last line was, I mean, nowadays it's hard to trust anyone, a doctor, a fitness instructor, like what the fuck is going on out here? Everybody's trying to make a buck. Some people are trying to do it underhandedly, and it sucks for the rest of us because there's so much information. We are in the age of information. There's so much information out there. You don't know what to believe. I mean, our government tells us one thing, fitness people tell us another, the doctors tell us another. The food pyramid is probably upside down, and it's probably caused the obesity epidemic that we are currently in right now here in the United States. So, who do you trust? You're going to have to decide that for yourself. And hopefully you go with your gut. And I don't even know who to tell you. I know who I trust. So you're just going to have to try to wade through all the bullshit and find people who are at I don't want to say the top of their field, but find people who others that are highly respected in that field respect. So if you see somebody who's spouting something on YouTube or whatever, and they have a dozen other people who are respected in that field agreeing with him or her, it's probably good advice. So anyway, that's all I got. thanks for the comment. It was interesting. If anybody else wants to comment, like if anybody else has a big comment like this that it's hard to break down into a comment reply section, I mean, I'll gladly make a video and just share my opinion with you guys. But thanks for watching. Like always, drink some whiskey, drink your protein shakes, or just eat food. I mean, that'd be the easiest thing to do. Or actually, this is pretty easy. I made it in like 2 minutes. But be safe. Don't drink and drive. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.